The government, people in power don't do anything unless we push them to do so. And in this moment, we came together with allies from across the progressive movement, with community leaders and activists, because people saw themselves in Brittney Griner in an important way.
Hey GRIO fam, it's Gerren Keith Gaynor, White House correspondent and managing editor of politics at theGrio, and I'm here with Kelley Robinson, who is the new president of Human Rights Campaign, the largest LGBTQ plus organization in the nation, and she is the first Black queer woman to serve in the role. Kelley Robinson, welcome to theGrio. Pleasure to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
So I want to get your reaction to the recent news about Brittney Griner, someone who is a part of both the Black and LGBTQ plus community. She was released after 10 long months in detainment in Russia. How did this moment feel? What was your reaction when you discovered the news?
Oh, I'm relieved. And I gotta be honest, it was also a really emotional moment. I mean, we've seen so many ways that our community has been under attack. And I think what we saw was hate and extremism playing out. Like, Russia has a long history of discriminating against Black folks and against LGBTQ plus folks. And in the midst of this conflict, they targeted her. So to see that the administration didn't give up, that our community didn't give up, that we did not leave her behind, and for her to come home to her family, her wife, before this holiday, it was everything to me.
And as you know, organizations like the Human Rights Campaign really rallied on the ground for Brittney Griner for months. What impact do you think orgs like the HRC and others and advocates, what impact did they have in this mission to bring her home?
A huge impact. Look, the government, people in power don't do anything unless we push them to do so. And in this moment, we came together with allies from across the progressive movement, with community leaders and activists, because people saw themselves in Brittney Griner in an important way. And we never gave up. And I think that pressure coming from the people meant that the government had to do the same. So I'm really proud of the way that we fought, the way that we didn't give up, and that now we're seeing something hopeful come out the other side.
And while most people in this country have been celebrating Brittney Griner's return home, there has been criticisms from conservatives like former President Donald Trump. Tucker Carlson at Fox News have been critical of President Biden for securing her release over Paul Whelan, as well as some critiques about Brittney Griner's protest of the national anthem over the death of Breonna Taylor. Any reaction to some of the criticism that's coming from the right?
We need to be celebrating the fact that this woman is home with her family right now. That's what we need to be focused on, and thinking about what her and her family need to get whole again. Spending nearly 300 days in an unlawful and unjustified detention is outrageous and egregious. And if we're a country that stands up and stands for every single American, everyone looking at this should be enraged. And not only that, if there's something to critique, the critique should be about why this happened. And there's so many layers to it, right? From the ways that the LGBTQ plus community and Black communities are uniquely attacked, to the fact that women basketball players aren't given the pay that they deserve. And that's why she had to play in Russia, right? There's so many layers to this for us to critique and unpack, but her being brought home is definitely not one of them.
And there were reports that the penal colony where Brittney was being held had a reputation for being racist, for being homophobic, potentially something that Brittney was exposed to. The White House has declined to update on her health for obvious privacy reasons, but it does say a lot about the need for services for her to heal from the trauma that she experienced, something that the White House said that they will provide. But more broadly speaking, can you speak to the type of dangers a Black queer person like Brittney Griner or anyone faces in this world for simply existing?
It is so challenging. Moving about this world as a Black person, as a queer person, isn't always easy. There are so many considerations that we're making. And yes, we're talking about Russia now, but this also happens when we're talking about people traveling from city to city in this country, or from state to state in this country. So I think that we have to be thinking about this in two ways. One, the global context for LGBTQ plus equality. This nation should be a leader in fighting for change domestically and globally. The second thing we got to be thinking about is What are the ways that we're fighting against discrimination here in this country where we all live and reside? There are 29 states that have no protections on the books for LGBTQ plus people when it comes to discrimination, right? We are actually seeing through the 303 Creative case another attempt to legalize, to manipulate the First Amendment to legalize discrimination against our people. This stuff is happening here. There's so much more work for us to do just to ensure that people that look like you and me, that live our lives openly and boldly, are able to do that in the cities where we live.